Next speaker is Mrs. Chugosvili from Georgia, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Dear colleagues, please let me start by thanking Mr. Hunko and colleagues who observed 2 rounds of presidential elections in Georgia. We value and appreciate your time and dedication, and we carefully read and follow your findings and recommendations. Presidential elections in Georgia have been remarkable in a number of ways. It was the last time the country has elected president in a direct vote, as Georgia concludes its transformation towards the fully parliamentary democracy based on the last constitutional amendments, which, as stated by the Venice Commission, completes the evolution of Georgia's political system towards a parliamentary system and constitutes a positive step towards the consolidation of improvement of the country's constitutional order, based on the principles of democracy, the rule of law and protection of fundamental rights. This election was remarkable by the fact that Georgia has elected its first female president, which is unprecedented not only in my country but in the whole region. The first female president was elected in an extremely competitive political race and for the first time in my country in the second round of the presidential elections, with 60% support in a very high voters' turnout. According to the report presented by the observers, the election was competitive and professionally administered. Candidates were able to campaign freely and voters made their choice without restrictions. Voters had electoral choices and the campaign was lively and dynamic. The work of CEC was transparent. The media environment was diverse and offered citizens access to a variety of viewpoints. Georgian public broadcaster aired a debate involving 3 main candidates together. Despite the positive outcomes of the election, there have been lessons we learned from the process and some of the unfortunate dynamics we have observed. Unfortunately, this campaign has been hateful, full of harassment and intimidation against the female candidate, Madam Zurabishvili, now president. This week, PACE has launched an anti-harassment campaign. We have watched the video showing what kind of suffering the women go through in politics. The worst forms of harassment were used by opposition, whose party is a sister party of EPP. I would like to ask EPP colleagues in this assembly, please pay attention to how your sister party treated the female candidate in Georgia, how your sister party's own media treated the female candidate in Georgia. The level of hate speech, harassment and intimidation was unseen. I believe she will transform this pain into strength and pave the way for other women in politics. But I ask members, especially ones from EPP, to condemn the unseen harassment and intimidation coming from your sister party members against newly elected president of my country. Gladly, Georgian citizens gave a proper response to the hate and intimidation. Impressive support towards her demonstrated Georgian voters, winning by 60% of votes in this election, was the most impressive response towards the hateful, ugly campaign led against Madam President. As I stated above, the government of Georgia is thankful for the recommendations and we have received for the guidance which my country receives from the Council of Europe in consolidating democracy. Once again, we are reforming to move forward. We do that on a daily basis. We intend to dedicate the year of 2019 to election legislation reform, and we plan to do that with OSCE and Council of Europe, and we thank you.